The barbershop was an American cultural icon from the early 19th century through the late 1960s. Men went for a great haircut as well as great conversation. When the unisex craze began, barbershops almost disappeared, leaving men in salons devoid of friendship and leisure. In 1999, a barber opened the first Roosters in Michigan. Men could step back in time and rest assured that they are the priority. At Roosters, clients can relax and unwind while barbers combine modern grooming techniques with classic barbershop elements. So can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jody Frank. I'm from New Jersey, born and bred, and I have opened a couple of barbershops in New Jersey. Roosters is a middle market haircutting men's salon. I was tired of going to, the reason I was interested in it was I was tired of going to women's salons and sitting next to people that had tinfoil in their hair.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a nice place to have nice to have a place where men could go to feel comfortable and get their hair cut. And so I did a search for a franchise with that in the back of my mind, but open to other things as well. And I found this franchise, which was very interesting, and I decided to go with it.
Were you always interested in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I was a stockbroker for 25 years, and during that time I was partners with my dad, and we did a lot of money raising for small companies. And I sat on the board of several companies at that time, so during those years. So what I in fact did was I raised money from my practice to finance small micro caps, they call them, on Wall Street. And I did 4 or 5 of those kind of deals over a 20-year span. And then I left the brokerage business to become the chief financial officer of a small public company. So that was an entrepreneurial job in and of itself. And when I left there, I decided to do this.
Why did you choose Roosters? Had you gone to one before?
I'd never actually been in one, but like I said in the beginning, I like the concept of having a man's place.
Yeah.
I also like the business model because most retail businesses, your biggest challenge is managing your inventory and managing your labor, because you have fixed labor costs and fixed inventory costs. But in a haircutting business, you really have very small inventory, if any, just shampoos that you sell. And you have variable labor costs, meaning that whenever a person cuts a head of hair, they get a percentage of what they cut. So your costs for labor are depending on your revenue stream. So that was attractive to me.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Plus, the haircutting business was recession-proof because hair continues to grow and
Always.
everybody has to get haircuts. I guess they could start doing it themselves if it really got that bad. But for the most part, people don't mind coming out and spending $20 to $30 to get their haircut.
And they like the treatment they get also.
They get a hot towel, they get a massage, they like the treatment. Yes, and it's proven very successful in Summit, which is my first store. And now I'm opening my second.
What are the first steps to starting this business?
Well, like I said, I had to arrange the financing, so that was the important part. Once I got the okay with the financing, then with the help of the franchisor, and I had the location because the other guy had backed out, I then built out the shop. So, that was pretty much after I raised the money and then decided, well, first I decided on the concept, then I raised the money, then I had to actually execute.
So did you go to the company website and that told you what to do?
Actually, I employed a franchise consultant.
Oh.
And she showed me 8 or 9 different concepts. And I was inclined to do one in the hair business, so I had a couple of those to look at. But this one seemed to be the most interesting to me.
And did you always want to do a franchise?
No, I really chose the franchise concept because I thought that it would be easier to execute the sale if I wanted to get out. So in other words, you
Okay.
want an exit strategy when you go into a business, and one of the good things about a franchise is that the exit strategy is ready-made, you know, because it's packaged in such a way that there's others have sold before it, and you know you can kind of value it pretty easily.
After all the planning, how did you gain the confidence to just start and follow through with everything? Or did it just occur naturally?
I think I'm just crazy.
So you just did it?
I just did it. I mean, I really, you know, put my mind to it, and you know, I after the career that I had, I didn't really want to go out and get a job. I wanted to do something that was more creative.
And where you're in charge?
And where I'm in charge. And I wanted to, you know, run a small business. I've never actually been hands-on with a business this small. So I'm the accountant for the business, the bookkeeper, the, you know, the projector, the purchaser. I mean, I do everything. I wear all the different hats for the business other than cutting hair, which I don't do.
Yeah.
But I do everything else. And I like that. I wanted to be more, I wanted that aspect to be, you know, the first thing I thought of in the morning. I wanted the idea.
Does it energize you?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting and interesting. So
Yeah.
the answer is energy always comes from the inside, not from at the outside. In the sense that you can't let something energize you; you have to bring that energy to it. So to me, it's part of what you do in life is that you bring yourself to a task and you try to make the most of it. And that's what I like about, you know, being a little bit more in control than if I were actually working for somebody else.
So you really like being your own boss?
Yeah, I've always really been. I've never actually worked for a salary except for the few years when I was the CFO.
Yeah.
And even that was more of a partnership. So it's always been my interest to make my own income. So when I was a stockbroker, I worked only on commission. I never made a salary.
Okay.
So and I started at that when I was, you know, 25 or 26 years old. So I've always been really an entrepreneur, you know, my whole life.
Do you feel like it's more pressure when you work that way?
Well, since I don't know anything else,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to think of it as being pressure. I mean, you know, I have confidence in myself and my ability to do things, and I try to get them done. And usually it's worked for me, but, you know, who knows? But then again, I'm 61, so you'd think that by now I would have learned if it was really bad. You know.
So do you think your confidence comes from just working in this like industry and like for years and maturing?
I think that I've always been confident and felt that I could, you know, do what I set out to do. But you know, it's all process, and you have to try to be as dedicated to the process as you are to the success of the process. So if you've given it your all and you know, an effort, then you have to assume it's going to work out. And if it doesn't, then you just have to try again.
And then did you face doubt from other people? And then how did you deal with that?
Well, everybody thinks I'm crazy anyway, so it didn't matter. You know.
Okay.
I mean, people, you know, people just.
They don't understand.
I don't really let people's opinions of what I'm doing affect me that much because they're just not, some people are just not in a position to do it the way I did it, and that's their prerogative. I just do it the way I do it, so I didn't really have much doubt. I didn't experience much doubt because there weren't people around me that did anything but support me. So, and my wife is great with that, and that's really all you really need.
What is your favorite and least favorite part?
Well, my favorite part is being independent.
Okay.
And being able to, you know, fashion my own future as it were, you know, as best as I can. My least favorite part is that, you know, there's a lot of detail to it, and you have to really remember to, you know, make lists for yourself and understand what you have to do. And you also have to be motivated. You have to get yourself to do all the things. Nobody's going to do it for you. You know, the whole thing is more like a process, like I said before, and the harder part of the process is to get yourself to sit down every single day and do the numbers and understand what you're doing and make sure you say, I guess you know what? I'm gonna scratch all that. My least favorite part is going to Costco and buying supplies for the store. I hate doing that, but I have to do it.
You can get an assistant to do it.
Well, yeah, if you can afford it, but you have to make sure that you don't waste your money on things that don't end up benefiting the business as much as somebody who's behind the chair cutting hair.
Yeah.
Because that's what generates
and then what's next? Can you tell me a little bit about the new store?
Well, this is, we're sitting in it. I'm hoping that I can reach out to the town and become as accepted here as I am in Summit. I want to get, in touch with the Chamber of Commerce and the PTAs and the booster clubs and all the different people from town who either have or are associated with kids and dads who will come and use my store. And I believe if I throw enough out there by making contributions, whether it be contributions of a haircut or contributions of money to the various organizations, that they'll support me. And I think there is a big movement in this, and so I'm going to try to make this be in everybody's face so they'll want to come here. And then once they come here, they'll be sold.
One last question.
Sure.
What is your favorite part of the Roosters experience?
The hot towel.
Okay.
It's very cool. And the shave with the straight razor, that's also very cool. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been great.